I have got a sidewalk here with some obvious problems. It was put in 15 years ago. There was backfill gravel next to the house with tiling underneath, and it has settled. The sidewalk has sloped towards the house to the tune of about 2 inches in some spots. I'm going to attempt to raise this sidewalk using some foam from a can. The first thing that I've done is I've drilled some 1/4-inch holes into the sidewalk. This is where I plan on putting the foam, and that will be done after I raise it. I plan on raising it an inch or so, shooting some foam in, and see if it will raise the cement or if I have to raise it and then put the foam underneath to make this so that it's level. I'm going to try to slope it out towards the grass so that when we get heavy rains it won't be going part way down towards the house, so that most of the water will go to the grass. Some of these slabs are level, so I won't have to do them. Then down at the end near the driveway, I've got a portion that has settled. It is level, but I would like it to come back up so that it's level with the driveway, preventing problems when I use the snowblower. I will be doing some recording in between here to make sure that I get everything on there. I've also cut between the slabs. I rented a cement saw and did all the cutting all the way down as far as I could to separate them, so that I'm not going to take a chance on breaking a section of concrete. The holes I've dug were for getting down with the saw and seeing what my progress was, and I didn't want the saw hitting any rocks and causing more problems. Okay, as you can see, I've got my jack and my raising mechanism in place, and I just raised that sidewalk up. You can see on the left side there that it's up just a shade above the driveway. The other side is just a shade below the driveway, and I'm just about ready to pump some foam in there and see how that's going to work. I'm going to be using Great Stuff foam for gaps and cracks. This was purchased at a big box store for about $3. So I have to shake it for about at least 1 minute, and then I will start putting the foam in and see what happens. Okay, I shook it for a good minute and a half, for close to 2 minutes, and I have no idea what this foam will do, if it will raise the cement or not. I do know there's a space underneath. Okay, this is the next morning after the foam has cured. As you can see, the left side of the sidewalk is sticking up, but the right side is level. And I'm going to grind that corner down. I'd rather grind that corner down than grind part of the driveway down. So that is why I did it this way. And as you can see down here, the foam is coming out there a little bit. Have to trim that off and fill it back in, and we'll be good as new. The next project I'm going to be working on is the other end of the sidewalk here. Starting by the steps I'm going to get this set up and get my lifting unit in place, and then I will show you what I'm doing. Okay, I have my lifting mechanism in place, and hopefully this is going to work the way I designed it. Now, as you can see, I've got about a 1/2 inch board underneath the level on that side, because when I get done I want it to be about a 1/2 inch lower. That way all of the rain is going to go over to the grass side, and it will also compensate if the cement sidewalk starts to sink again, which hopefully it does not. And I'm going to need to lift this about, I figure about 2.5 inches. So I'm going to begin jacking it up now, and if everything goes according to plan, you should see that sidewalk start to come up. Okay, I've got both sections coming up here. I don't know if you can see that or not. I've got two sections of sidewalk coming up at once. The second piece is a short piece. And I'm going to be giving the first piece there some foam, and I'm also going to give the second piece some foam, even though it's not as high as I want it to be. What I will do is I will jack that up separately and then give that another shot of foam. And I will give this piece of some foam. Now when I did the end piece, on the other end, I gave it a whole can for that one slab. And I think that's what's going to happen here too. You notice I'm wearing latex gloves, because that stuff you get it on your hands and it has to wear off. You cannot get it off. Okay, I shot the foam in there. I actually put two cans in. One can I went through the holes, and the other can I went up to the front part of the concrete slab there and just put foam underneath there so that that corner gets supported, because I didn't have a hole drilled in the front part of that slab. So I'm going to let this set for about a good hour, because that's what I did last night and it seemed to work pretty good. So I want to give it a chance to cure. Okay, this has been curing for about 2 hours now. So I'm going to let it down and see what we have. And as planned, the concrete did not move down at all. Okay, we've got this next piece lined up and we're ready to raise it up, and hopefully everything will go according to plan. However, plans sometimes do not go right. Got some shifting down now. Just the concrete was sliding against each other. I have that part all the way up to the house completed now. The sidewalk is sloped just a little bit away from the porch. And as we get further back this way, you can see that it's not as tilted as it was in that one spot. There I raised it it was about 2.5 inches low, and I raised it about 3 inches so that it tilts away from the house and the rain runs to the grass. And as you can see what my setup is, I don't know if I showed you that before, but I've got C-clamps onto the cement. I dug underneath the concrete, put the C-clamps on, and then I have a chain to the C-clamp into a eye bolt into the 2x10. And then I have the jack under the metal support, lifting that up. Well, I finished up the project, and as you can see, I got the sidewalk all done, and it's very level. I made the grass side a 1/2 inch lower than the house side of the sidewalk, so that should it settle more over the years, it will still be in pretty decent shape. Now, I wasn't initially going to lift I was going to leave a couple of them because they were relatively flat, but in doing the rest of them they didn't match up, so I lifted them up. Didn't have any holes drilled in them, so I had to extend the straw on the great stuff, extended the straw on it and sprayed it as far underneath the concrete as possible. And you see by the very end here, at the beginning of the video, on the left side it was sticking up, about a half an inch or so, and I was going to have to grind that down. But the right side was still down about a half an inch or so, so I decided I was going to give that a try. I lifted the side nearest the house up to where I wanted it, and the side near the grass went back down where it belonged. So there's no need to get a grinder on this job. But I'd like to thank everybody on YouTube that has done videos before on this lifting concrete, because it sure helped me out. I learned a lot about the great stuff, gap and crack filler, and that was the cheapest way to go. And we'll see how this holds up over the next couple of years. But I'm very pleased, because now the water is not going to run directly down towards the house and through the gravel and into my drainage tile that goes around the house and drains into my sump hole. So again, I'm all done, and I'm very pleased the way it turned out. Again, to run through briefly, what I did is I first drilled a couple of holes in each slab towards the house a little bit off center, and made it at least 8 to 10 inches away from the cracks. Then I got a saw and sawed all the places where there was a separation. Even though if it was cracked all the way through, I still sawed it so that it wouldn't snag when I lifted it. And I will have to use some filler and fill in these cracks so that water and such don't go down there and build up some ice underneath and start lifting them up again. So thanks to all the YouTubers that went before me, and I learned a little bit from each one, and I kind of twisted them around and used a little bit from each one and did it the way I thought it was going to work out for me, and it did. So thank you.